So we get started? Yep.
Very good. Well, welcome everybody in this webinar. We are very happy to have you here with us. And well, today we will talk with Ivan Galvez and Subbu. They are our founders in Active Tech. And well, this is very important webinar to share with all of you because most of our candidates, people who are in the process with us, they have a lot of questions about how is the interviews with our clients in the US. That is difficult, that is not difficult, what type of questions, how you can get a job with a US client, and all of the skills you need to have to get a job in the US. They will talk about this in this session. Okay, at the end, please, if you have some questions, please you can put on the chat, or at the end we can give you some time to ask direct questions to Subbu and Ivan. Then please welcome to Ivan and Subbu. Thank you very much to join today.
Ivan.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vidkar. Yes.
Yes.
Hi there. Sorry.
Okay, good. We will start then. Ivan, Subbu, first, I want to ask you about brief introductions about you and your work in those many years you have of experience in this technology area. And well, what is the recommendations you can give us to have this interview with the clients? Thank you.
Excellent. Very good. Thank you, Damaris. So Subbu, why don't you start? Why don't you introduce yourself very briefly?
Excellent. Good afternoon, all. Thank you so much for taking the time. You know what? Because one of the most important and precious things is time. And when people take some time out and attend webinars like this, it is important, and it gives us a kind of a satisfaction that we are trying to help people with any questions or anything that helps them in their career. Because at the end of the day, you feel good when you try to help somebody with some information that you know, which you can share, and that information which can help people. That is so important. And that is one of the reasons why Ivan and me, we basically decided that, you know what, we will spend some time with people that have any questions about working in the United States, what kind of circumstances, situations arise, how do you overcome that, what are the things to do, things not to do, how do you basically, like, you know, because see, it is very important. When you are prepared for something, the result is completely different, and when you're not prepared for something, results could be completely different. So it is always better to be one step ahead and be prepared and have a basic understanding of what it is needed, what is needed in order to basically, like, not go to the United States and have a good life. Because see, people say it's an American dream, right? Okay, I have not heard this anywhere else. There is nothing called an Indian dream or a Mexican dream. There is only one thing called an American dream. Okay, and that is very important. And being prepared for something like that helps people. I would stop here. I would let Ivan basically, like, you know what, take it over from here.
Thank you, Subbu. Yes. So I think that you touched on the first topic that I wanted to cover today, which is why is this important? Okay. Yes, we're going to go to the interview process and so on and so forth, but the first thing is I mean, why to go to the US? Why to work with the biggest companies over there? So I think that's precisely one of the first things I wanted to cover. So Subbu, from your experience, for example, in what is it that work in a professional way? First, let's cover professional, personal, and many other aspects. But in the professional aspect, what is it to gain? Do our candidates get to gain by working in the US and in the largest companies in the United States?
Okay, so I'll give you two perspectives. Okay, guys. Before that, I will take 1 minute to tell something about myself also. It is very important that you know who you're talking to and what I have basically. I have been in the United States for 21 years, guys. Okay, my name is Subbu Seetharaman. I'm basically a co-founder along with Ivan of Active Tech. Okay, and we are a staffing and consulting company in the United States. And I have experience of over 20 plus years working in this industry. And so to answer Ivan's question, I'll give you two parts to this thing. One is my personal experience and what any other person should basically understand. So when I first came to this country in 2001, okay, the first place I basically went to was New York, and I was in the Wall Street area, okay, near the New York Stock Exchange. And when I went to that place, I immediately thought one thing, hey, wow, if I ever work, I should work in this area, in this place, because it just, the feeling that you get when you do something, wow, that wow feeling is so critically important. Anything that you do, if you are able to say that to yourself, see, looking at something and saying wow is one thing, but you need to basically feel that wow factor in yourself. Wow, this is so nice. Wow, this is so informative. When you get that wow feeling, that is a very critical feeling, that is a very important feeling. And that feeling I got when I first landed in the United States and when I was walking in the Wall Street area. I did not have a job, nothing. I was going there, but I decided then and there that if I work, I should basically work in this area. Again, people and perspectives change. Okay, that was a 26-year-old boy, a 26-year-old man having that feeling. Today, you know what? After having 21 years of experience behind myself, it's a different feeling. Okay, but I'll tell you another thing here. America is a great place. Okay, every place is great. Okay, but there are some places which define and determine what you really want to do or what you want to become in your life. And when I started this webinar, I was telling you that, hey, I am from India. Okay, you guys are from Mexico. Okay, and when people talk, okay, everybody has dreams. Everybody has dreams. Okay, but there is a one specific thing that is called in America, which is called the American dream. Everybody says, hey, this guy is living the American dream. I am living the American dream. Nobody talks about an Indian dream or a Mexican dream or a United Kingdom dream. They always talk about American dream because America is a different country. Okay, America is great for multiple reasons. Okay, one of them being, it is one of the most technologically advanced countries in the world. Okay, and if you take the Fortune 500 companies, more than 150-200 companies are American companies. Now, in a world with 180 countries, okay, if you take the Fortune 500 list, I would say actually more than 350 to 400 would be American companies. So that is one of the things here. That is one thing. Second thing is, hey, listen, I'll tell you one thing. Everybody who has kids want to have their kids grow up in a country where, the language, see, whatever it is, right? See, English is the universal language, but Spanish is like, is the most. I tell my kids that they need to learn Spanish because the world is basically getting divided into two parts. One is with English and one with Spanish. Okay, half the population speaks English and at least 1/3 of the population, I think, speaks Spanish. The entire Latin America speaks Spanish.
Correct.
America, at least 20% speaks Spanish. And then you have Spain where you speak Spanish, but Spain is catching up. Spanish is catching up. But at the same time, having a universal language like English is extremely important. That is another thing. One of the most.
Now, Subbu, what would you say, for example, there's a lot of people that I've heard saying, I work with American companies remotely from Mexico. Okay. What would you say to some of the candidates that say, I've worked with American companies, but from Mexico? What do you think?
Okay, this is a very good question. Let me answer it in this way. We live in a very global environment. Actually, the global environment started in the last 10-15 years, but in the last 2 years, it has become even more prevalent because of the COVID pandemic or whatever it is. everybody started working from home, right? So even clients and everybody basically thought, hey, wow, people are working from home always. How is the productivity? How is the performance of people that are working from home? I'll tell you one thing. Initially, when people were all working from home, right, it felt good, great. But now I'll tell you one thing, both candidates as well as clients, there is a certain percentage of them which says, hey, you know what? I want to basically get out of my house. I just can't sit in that four walls and just look at the camera and just work for. I go crazy. I'm going crazy. I want some kind of an interaction with people, a physical, social interaction.
Correct. And you know what? So if I may interject a little bit here, one of the things that precisely I say to a lot of our candidates who are considering going to the US is that there's nothing like living the experience, meeting with people, touch. I mean, seeing physically the people that you're interacting with, because that takes your level and your career to a wholly different level, right? Like you and I, if we were both working for remote companies, me from Mexico, you from India, we would have never met.
Correct.
We would have never met. The reason why we met, and we did not meet in the US, okay, but it's because we both were in the US. We had friends who had friends, and we finally connected, right?
Correct.
So the potential, the capacity that you develop of networking, and that takes your life to a whole different level when you're able to physically be in the US, land a job in one big good company in the United States, right? And meet with the people, interact with them, because it's also no good if you get a good project but you stay in your home and you don't talk to anybody, you sit just in front of the computer. No, you have to be out there. You have to interact with people. You have to learn diverse cultures and embrace the different cultures so that we can get the full value of what we're doing. You agree with that?
100%. I will tell you guys another very important thing here. Human being is a social animal. Human being is a social animal. You know what? Unless or until you interact with people, you can go crazy. You cannot just sit in the four walls always and consider that as your world, which is what actually happened for all of us, right? See, the pandemic basically made people work from home because there was no other way out. There was no other thing that you could do. But when things are getting normal, people want to go out. People want to go into a movie theater. People want to go into the malls. People want to go and basically like spend time outside of home. Okay.
Correct.
And in today's world, see, clients also understand that. And that is the reason why clients are willing to basically work the hybrid model, where you work 1 or 2 days in the office, work 3 days from home.
Correct.
So that your mental balance is there. Because people are getting crazy. People are going crazy sitting at home. So clients realize that. But at the same time, asking somebody to come to work for 5 days, I don't know how much it is going to work, but the world has changed. The world has evolved.
Correct. Now, Subbu, talking about the topic that everybody's waiting to hear today, how to perform in an interview. So we talk a little bit about why is this important, okay? So let's talk about a little bit on preparing for an interview, okay? And I hope this is useful for you in the US and Mexico, anywhere you are, but especially this talk is prepared for the US. So Subbu, can you tell us a little bit, okay? Who are the interviewers? Who are the people that most likely are interviewing our candidates?
Okay, before I go there, I want each one of you to answer this, starting with Bitker Rios. Okay, you are working in Mexico. Okay, do you interact with people outside of Mexico? Do you interact with anybody else outside of Mexico?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Hi everyone. Right now, I'm working on a project with Subbu North America. So I'm working with a team from India. And yeah, that's
excellent.
And that's great.
That's all I want. Okay, next, Osvaldo, where do you work and what is your sphere? Like, do you have people working from other countries?
In the past, yes, and actually, my current situation is really similar to you explained it. I work in Mexico for a client in USA, so I don't know my partners in front from. It's a little weird to work in that mood, but however, it's really interesting. The cultural mix is really interesting. I work with people from USA and India. It's nice.
One request, guys, if anybody can turn on their cameras, that would be awesome. You know what? I would rather want to speak to a face rather than to a blank black screen. If possible. Okay. That would basically make a lot of sense if you guys can turn on your cameras. Oh, very nice. Very
Hi,
nice.
everyone.
Okay. Miguel, what about you? Where do you work and who do you interact with?
Well, I currently work in IBM. I do this support for manufacturing applications. So I work with people from United States, like Poughkeepsie over there in Minnesota. I also work for people or interact with people in Hungary.
Excellent.
I think I interact with people with Japan and also China.
Wow.
Because we have applications that send requests and stuff in IQ message in the server. So yeah, I mean I need
Excellent.
to like
Saul,
interact.
what about you? Saul Perez?
Saul,
Yeah, well, right now I work for a Ford project. So I work with people in India and Australia all the time.
Excellent.
Every
Jose?
day.
Jose Valdo Vinos.
Hi, good morning.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
hey Jose, good morning. Afternoon.
Good afternoon. Actually, I'm working in HCL. It's an Indian company. And right now my team is conformed by Mexicans, but I had interaction with some Indian guys too sometimes. So that's
Excellent. Roberto?
Hello.
Hello, Roberto.
Hello. I just saw your link in LinkedIn and joined here, but in the past I worked with Ivan, so it's a connection in LinkedIn and I follow. I was working in a company from Ivan called Synthesis for a time, and I would like to explore. I'm trying to go back to work in the USA, so that's why I joined here to
Thank
learn
you.
more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
David, what about you? Where do you work and have you interacted with other people, other countries? You're on mute. David, you're on mute. Okay, so one thing common in everybody that I heard is you all are working with people from different parts of the world, and 75 to 80% of the people work with people from India, correct? So now this is interesting. This is very interesting. Ivan and I have always had this discussion. Now, if you go to any American client, any client, and if you go to the technology department, I will guarantee you, 75 to 80% of the technology people will be Indians. Right?
Sure.
75 to 80%, whether on-site or whether offshore or wherever it is, there is at least 60 to 70% of people that are Indians. So when an Indian comes to America, the clients or anybody thinks, okay, this guy must be in computer science, this guy must be in technology, this guy must be in information technology. That is a standard feeling that people get when an Indian comes to America. Do you agree with me? Now, When a Mexican comes to America, do you think clients think that this guy is a technology guy? This guy is a Java developer. This guy is a... No, not at all. Why? Because it is a stereotype. When they say Mexican, oh, Mexican, he will be a restaurant worker, some construction labor, some lawn mower. That is the kind of a feeling clients have. Ivan and I have decided our goal is to tell our clients Mexicans are good technology people. Mexico has a good technical team. Mexico also has educated people that can come and work in the United States. That is what we tell our clients. And we say that with a great amount of confidence and pride. Ivan has pride, I have confidence. Because
absolutely,
we have over 100 people working for us. And 100% of them are Mexicans. 100%. And that is what, that the biggest difference Active Tech has is that 100% of our employees are Mexican citizens working in America. Not 99.9, 100%.
correct.
Now, let me tell you something. I've been talking for 20 minutes now. Are you able to understand me clearly? You know why? I'll tell you I'll tell you a secret. I will tell you a secret. When I initially started working with Mexicans, generally Indians speak very fast. They speak very fast. Okay? It becomes difficult. See, I have an accent. You guys have an accent. Correct? We are not native English speakers. Your native language is Spanish. My native language is something different. Okay? So I have an accent. You have an accent. So initially when I used to speak very fast. So people used to basically say, wow, this guy is speaking so fast, I can understand him. I cannot understand him. So it never used to be a discussion. I used to talk, and that's it. You don't understand. So when you don't understand me, you get bored, right? You get bored. So what I did was I started talking slowly and using hand actions.
So let me ask you a question, Subbu, to all the guys that we have here. So many of you guys, precisely, you said you work with people from India. How many of you have trouble communicating with them, like understanding what they're saying?
The first week of working with the new team was horrible because I can understand nothing.
A word.
Exactly. And you know what is the thing is that it is reciprocal, right? Because you guys say, oh, Indians have a very thick accent, right? Very difficult accent. Indians say, Mexicans have a horrible accent.
Look at Roberto. Roberto is saying 95% of the team was from India.
Exactly.
So the secret that I want to tell you is this, guys. So how can you basically crack an interview? That is the most important thing, right? See, all of you guys want to come to America and start working here, correct? But in order for you to come and work in America, you need to get a client, you need to get a job, you need to talk to a client, you need to interview with them. And like what Roberto is saying, 95% of interviews, 95% of technical interviews happen from India and are done by Indians.
Sure.
95% of the technical interviews are done by Indians, from India or by Indians. So you know what the success is? I'll tell you the biggest success. I tell my employees, like for example, Osvaldo, Jose, Roberto, Miguel, Damaris, Saul, I tell them this. Listen, if I am interviewing you, suppose let us say you are interviewing me, okay? Osvaldo is interviewing me. Osvaldo is Indian and Subbu is Mexican, okay? How I start my discussion, I'll tell. Good morning, Osvaldo. How are you? Good. I have a request. Okay, this is how I say, I have a request. We both come from different countries, different cultures. I have an accent, you have an accent. My only request is, I want you to talk little slow so I can understand you and we can have a discussion. That's it. I'm telling you, the whole perspective changes. The whole perspective will change. After that, he will not think about communication skills. He will try to talk slowly. He will try. He cannot, but he will try. And he will try to understand you also. Because you're telling him, please, I'm requesting you to talk slowly. I'm telling you, that has worked wonders.
And one of the things that one of the tools that we just recently saw that it might be beneficial for you is that request that Subbu is saying is key. It's absolutely important. And also, since most of the interviews are done via Teams or Zoom, you also have the closed captions or subtitles capabilities. I don't know if you know that, but you can enable the subtitle feature. So as they speak, you're actually going to see the translation of what the interviewer is saying in Teams. So that is a very, very good trick, just so that if you guys have some trouble understanding, obviously some words, since we have different accents, some words might be, be printed a little bit differently, but you will be able to see and you will be able to understand.
Sorry, how can I active that function? Because it sounds amazing.
So I haven't seen it in Zoom, in Teams, which is most of our interviews happen in Teams. You go to the little three dots and you enable the closed caption over there.
Great, thank you so much.
Sure, that's a pretty neat trick. Very good. Yes, Damaris. Oh, Damaris, I thought you were raising your hand. Yes. Okay. So Subbu, what do you think that when people are going to present an interview, what do they have to do before the interview? What is the preparation that needs to happen before someone goes and takes an interview? What do you think?
So this is another thing. This is very important, guys. In any conversation, the first 30 to 40 seconds is extremely important. In any conversation, the first 30 to 45 seconds is important. I'll tell you one thing. Nobody has patience today. Do you agree? Do you guys agree with me? Nobody has patience. We go to a movie theater, but we still have the phone on the hand, looking at WhatsApp, looking at Instagram, looking at Facebook. Nobody has patience. So if you have to talk to somebody and if they have to listen to you with attention, that means you have to grab their attention in the first 1 minute. If you do not grab their attention in the very first minute, you're gone. Which means the first 30 to 40 seconds, whatever you say should be like on the point, like it should be like bullseye. Hey, hi, good morning. My name is Subbu Seetharaman. I am 46 years old. I live in Princeton, New Jersey. I have a family with 2 kids and a wife. I have a basic education in mathematics, physics, and geology. I have done master's degree and a bachelor's degree. I have over 20 years of experience working in different technologies, mainly Java, .NET, iOS. So when you speak like this, for the first 25-30 seconds, that's it. Everything else will be different. So what I used to do initially was, I used to stand in front of a mirror I used to stand in front of a mirror and say the same thing 20, 30 times, like a practice. I used to practice this. Hey, hi, good morning.
So let me just reiterate with whatever you're saying, Subbu. Guys, one of the things that the clients will definitely look in an interview is for your confidence. Okay, and confidence comes with preparation. Okay, so that's why what Subbu's saying is very, very critical. It's golden, because ultimately, you need to prepare before the interview. You have to prepare. Get your your introduction ready, get your resume ready, get your experience all in your head, because even if you hesitate when they ask you about your experience, if some people don't know whether what their experience is, the client will go away. All right, so preparation, knowing your introduction, knowing your resume, preparing technically for the technical questions, those kind of things are key, so that you can show up confidence in an interview. Is that correct, Subbu? What do you think?
100%. Confidence is key. When you speak confidently, when you speak assertively, I don't know how do you assertively in Spanish?
Same thing.
Same thing?
Yep.
Okay. When you speak confidently and when you speak assertively, that is key. Because everybody wants to basically see a confident person. Everybody. Nobody wants to see a non-confident person. Nobody wants to see that. Hey, I don't know the technology, but you know what? I'm smart enough. I can learn it pretty fast. That is confidence.
In fact, let me tell you a quick experience, guys. There is a tool where you record your videos. I mean, they ask you questions and you record your videos. It was like a way to automate the interviews. I haven't seen it lately, but I used to see it in the past. Now, I know zero about Java, okay? I mean, I know C, C++, I was a good programmer at that time, but I know zero about Java. And I presented that exam, okay? So I prepared my answers, did with confidence, with the best of my abilities. Just with that, I was able to get 80%. 80%. So, I mean, I know nothing, but I kind of projected confidence, right? So that is why projecting confidence is extremely important. And how do you get confidence? With preparation. The only way to get confidence is with preparation. Guys, technically, this is your job. You do Java, you do mobile, you do .NET, you do whatever technologies you do that on a daily basis, right? So you know the business, you know the ins and outs, right? The interview is a way where it's a platform where you're going to present this. Yes, you're going to have to practice the theory, because the many interviews are going to ask you a lot of theoretical questions, algorithms, data structures, sorting algorithms. So they're going to ask you theory. What are the characteristics of an object, right? Those kind of things will come in the interviews, and you have to prepare. Preparation will bring you success. So, Subbu, so we said before the interview, get prepared. What should somebody do when starting an interview? The first, whenever you already said about, talk to them about speaking a little bit slowly, which is also very important. We mentioned that you can enable the closed caption. What to do during an interview? What are the key things that the guy should do when the interview already started?
See, there are a couple of things here very important. One is, see, generally, I don't know, some clients, when they do when they do a video interview, right, they turn on their camera. Some don't turn on their camera. Okay. When they turn on your camera, I'm telling you, looking into the eyes and speaking is so critically important. That shows confidence. If you do like this, see, people generally, when they talk, right, they look up, they look down, they look here. They're trying to think and talk, right? Okay. But I have always had one thing going for me. When I am talking, I always look into the camera, look into the person's eyes and talk. That will basically give so much of a confidence for the person that is looking at you, because then he is forced to look at you. He or she, whoever it is, when you are looking at them in their eyes, you are forcing them to basically, like, look at you, because you are giving them the respect that they deserve, and you need to be given the respect that you deserve.
Even you know what, Subbu is completely right. There are some interviewers that they won't even turn on their cameras. Okay, I personally don't like that attitude, but unfortunately, it is what it is. They are the interviewers, and they don't turn on their cameras. What we have to see, guys, is that you and the interviewers are in the same level. Nobody is above the other person. You both are human beings doing your jobs, communicating to see if you want to connect for a project. Okay, that is what an interview is all about. So if somebody comes into the interview and they do not turn on their cameras, feel free to say, listen, I would really appreciate if you turn on your camera so that we can meet each other in face to face and we can have a better communication. You can feel free to do that. Okay,
absolutely.
That will even bring you more respect, because you are taking charge and you are being polite, but you are also being proud of yourself. Okay, so you're putting yourself in the same situation as the interviewer. So that's what I'm saying. What Sue was saying is right. If the interviewer is not turning on their cameras, ask them to. Remember, an interview is not unbalanced. An interview is balanced. An interview is a communication between two people that are trying to see if they want to work with each other. Again, an interview is a process where two people communicate to see if they want to work with each other. Okay, so that is what you have to accomplish. So communicating with them. Perfect. What else, Subbu? So the visuals. So Subbu was talking about the visuals, right? You not to have your camera like this or like no, like have your camera ready, front and center, good lighting, headset. So voice communication, everything is key. Everything is key. What else, Subbu? So let's say somebody already they prepared, they took care of the lighting, the sound, everything. They started the conversation. What other things would you recommend to the guys when during their interviews?
See, always ask questions. Let it not see. It is an interview. It is not an interrogation. Okay, it is not an interrogation. It
Exactly.
is an interview. So you can ask questions too. It is not like he's asking questions. You're sitting tight like this, waiting for a question, and I'm ready. Answer. No, it is a discussion. Make it lively. Let them not interrogate you. Let them interview you. It is an exchange of ideas. And when it has to be an exchange of ideas, you guys have to be participating in that. Hey, am I right? Hey, do I make sense? You have to ask such questions. Okay, when I'm saying something, I'm asking you, hey, Osvaldo, do I make sense? Do you agree with me? Or do you think I'm doing something? So when you ask these kind of questions, right, you are making him or her participate in the discussion. Always make them a participant too. You are a participant, make them a participant too. They are not above you and you are not below them. You are equal. You are actually trying to talk and you're trying to see if you both can work together. That is the key. Yes, he may be your boss. When you join, he may be your boss. That's fine. But you guys are still working together to make something happen. So it is critically important that you engage with them. You make them a willing participant. If you don't make them a willing participant, you don't want it to be a monologue. You know what is a monologue, right? You want it to be a dialogue. Dialogue. Two people.
You know what? I love that phrase. It is an interview, not an interrogation. Look, that is a powerful phrase, guys. I think I want you to write it down. Okay, it is an interview, not an interrogation. You're not there to answer questions. You're there to communicate. Okay, to connect. Actually, the most important thing is to connect, and then the things will come a little bit later. So absolutely. So feel proud of your work, the work you've done. You know, present yourself to the best of your abilities. always stay truthful to you, to what you know. Be proud of what you have accomplished so far. That is absolutely key to make things happen. Technically, you have what it takes.
Yes.
Right. So I would like to say one more thing. Okay. So Subbu was saying, and he's absolutely right. Guys, ask questions, because if you ask questions, you're gonna get, the interviewer also senses that you're interested in what the project is about. Okay. You're not just there to get any project. No, you're selecting them as well. Okay. You are communicating so that you both can select each other. So a key question that I always suggest you guys to ask, even at the end of the interview, okay, is ask for feedback. Okay. Many times it will be very difficult for us to get feedback from the interviews. Okay. Many times it's very difficult from us to get feedback from the interviews. But if you're there already, and once the interview is over, you say, listen, appreciate your time today. Thank you for the. Can you please give me some feedback? What do you think is next? Can you give me some feedback on what do you think? You might get some things that you like and some things that you don't like. But you know what? Even if you don't like them, you're going to learn. Right? Because this is a process. And yes, guys, you have to be prepared to be resilient. Okay? We have people who have made it in one interview. Great, but are not the majority. Okay? We have people that have taken 40 interviews. They're not the majority either. Right? Those are the two extremes. But what I'm saying is you have to be prepared to be resilient, okay, and ask for feedback right in the interview, right there. Ask the interview, listen, what do you think? Can you tell me what can I do to be better? What is your feedback? They will tell you something valuable, right? So
see, the question here is this, right? See, I understand always. It is easy to say, but it is difficult to practice. It is easy to say, but difficult to practice. What I mean by that, see, I'll give you a classic example in this case. One of our employees took close to 20 interviews, and he was rejected in all 20 interviews. Okay, Marco, his name is Marco. Okay, I asked Marco, what is the challenge, Marco? He said, Subbu, the biggest challenge is understanding the questions that they are asking. That is the biggest challenge, because they speak too fast, they speak with a thick accent, and that is when I realized that, you know what, there is no harm in asking to talk a little slow. And I'm telling you, he did exactly that. He said, you know what, Subbu, I'm going to say, you know what, doesn't matter. The first thing, the moment we log on to the interview, I will say, hey, hi, good morning. I have a request. We come from, so he said that, I'm telling you, in the third interview, he got a job. He did 20 interviews. For 2 months, he was struggling. Within 10 days, third interview, he got a job.
absolutely.
That's it. That changed the entire thing. Because it is, let me tell you something. It is very difficult. For me also, sometimes it is difficult to understand Mexicans. But you know what I do? I make an attempt to understand. I make an attempt to understand. Because I want to understand.
Absolutely.
If I don't want to understand, then there is nothing you can do about it, right?
Right.
So this is critical.
Yeah, and if you guys want to see, what an interviewer looks for in an interview, think of what you guys look for when you interview people for jobs. Okay. So, for example, can I see a show of hand of who of you guys have interviewed people? Like, who of you have interviewed people for positions in your jobs? None of you? No? Well, usually when I ask this question, okay, when I ask this when I ask this question, I say, listen, who of you, when I do some trainings, who of you have actually interviewed people? I get, and you know, so imagine you want to add someone to your team, okay? What would you look for in a person? So let's say Osvaldo, Vidkar, Jose, Talia, that you guys are asked to increase your team size. You are asked to hire 3 developers, and you're going to talk to multiple people to choose the 3 best people that you want that you want for your team. Okay, what would you look for in those 3 people? What would you look for in those interviews, Osvaldo?
Okay, I think my priority would be the technical skills. After
Okay.
that, communication, and after that, just that, communication and technical skills.
Okay. Anyone else? What would you look for, guys? Communication, technical skills, which is great, yes, and that's what clients are looking for. But there's more. What else? Talia, yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the things that Subbu mentioned is the thing related to assertiveness. This motivation, you know, to learn more about different software, different skills to develop in your work. Because, yeah, we know that anybody is perfect, so we can the recruiter or the person who will gonna interview, he understands perfectly that you don't know everything, but you are in this mood that you are open to learn more about anything, maybe another different
Exactly.
coding language, another language, other idiom, other soft skills, something like that, leadership skills, something like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there are 4 things that that the clients are going to look for, and between Osvaldo and Talia, they said it, the 4 of them. Technical skills, obviously, right? They want to hire somebody that is prepared for the job, but it's not the only thing. Communication skills, right? Of course, they want you to be able to communicate with them because you're going to be interacting with them, you know, every time. Talia said, and I'm going to summarize it in a word: attitude, right? A very good attitude, because you want, who would you rather hire? Someone who knows 100% of the skills, but that when you talk to them in the interview, you couldn't tolerate them, like they were snobby or I don't know, they had a bad attitude? Or would you rather hire someone who has 80-70% of the knowledge but with a great attitude and who's connecting with you? Who would you rather hire? Who would you rather hire?
The second person,
The
obviously.
second person, right? Exactly. So again, and this is super important, because many people think that interviews is about answering technical questions. No, this is only one part of it. But I said 4, right? So it's technical skills, it's communication skills, it's attitude, and it's confidence. Okay. And as we've said before, confidence comes with
Practice.
with preparation.
Preparation, yeah.
Yeah. Confidence comes with preparation. Okay. So we have 5 minutes to close this quick webinar. Guys, I would like to open up for questions from your side. You know, what would you like to know from Subbu or myself about the interview process after this session? What would you guys like to know? So it looks like we covered everything. Either there's no questions. So what would you guys like to know?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Talia. Yeah.
I have a punctual question. Based on your experience working in active tech, and of course seeking the correct profiles for these jobs and in the United States, approximately how many interviews we will need to attend before to maybe have a good proposal, or
Good.
it's relative?
Great question. Great question. So Active Tech, we focus on Java and mobile developers, right? That is our current focus. In terms of Java, for example, the broader the profile is actually the better. For example, if you are full stack, there's a little bit more chances that only backend. Backend will take obviously a little bit more interviews because full stack has more options, right? In average, what we've seen is that it takes about 10 to 15 interviews to start getting offers from clients. Okay, so all in all, if you consider the process from submitting the visa to getting the visa to do the training, because we provide you guys with training, technical training as well, so you can and interview training. So if you consider all that, it's going to take about 2.5 months, more or less, from beginning to end of the process.
Okay. In my specific case, in my singular case, the person who contacted me before and who is and the person who I am taking all the process, so Claudia, mentioned that I'm the first case into Active Tech because I am a UX UI designer. I'm not so focused into coding area, into knowledge like Java or Python or C++, I don't know. I'm more focused in parts of design, wireframing, JavaScript, HTML, CSS.
Got it.
So in order to understand my case is so specific, at least in the beginning in the company, so it will be similar like the other profiles in Active Tech?
Yes. So I would say, Talia, let's you and I take this discussion separately, because I want to talk to you specific about your case. But yeah, it's gonna be something similar. We probably need to learn throughout the process because exactly you were the first profile of UI UX. Okay. Other than that, we do Java, more Java and mobile. So let's take this learning experience separately. But yeah, I mean, I would expect it would be around the same, 10 to 15 interviews.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Okay, sure. What else, guys? What other questions do you have? Osvaldo, Vidkar, Jose. Yes, Osvaldo, go ahead.
It's related to the location. For example, I take some interviews and I receive, fortunately, two options to select. Can I? I'm available to do it, to choose between different places.
Yes. So typically when that happens, I mean, it really, you're going to be, I mean, in our case, what we do is our consultants are always part of Active Tech, okay? Are always part of our team. So you will not be hired directly by the client. You will be hired by our team and you will be working for us, hopefully for a long time, and you'll get to grow for a long time, right? Yes, if you get 2 projects, we can choose, between these 2 projects, because, you might say, listen, this one sounds more exciting, has more up-to-date technologies. I connected better with this client than with this other client, right? So that's why I'm saying also it's a 2-way interview process. So absolutely, if we get to close 2 projects, we get to choose. Obviously, challenge is to close 2 clients, right? That is the challenging part. But if that's the case, and it has happened, then we get to choose. Yes.
Thank you.
Sure. Alrighty, guys. One more question.
Excellent. I think it was a great session. Thank you so much for spending time with us, and we sincerely appreciate it, and hopefully we expect that you will work with us and will basically have a great association together. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you too.
Thank you, everybody.